The Point of View is brought to you by Bell, Chill and Win. Bell, Chill and Win. Everyone is a winner. Bell Mixers. Bell Mixers. The taste of adventure. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal. Happy smile. And Punto Technologies. Making you free to achieve.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television, on CTTV. Here on The Point of View, we pick the right topics, we get the right guests, we ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you. We're live tonight on a very important subject. It's been afflicting Ghana for decades. It's come to a head in the past few months, and tonight we delve into it, coming to it from at least 4 different angles. We're looking at the tidal wave menace and its effects on communities in particularly the southeastern part of Ghana. So we're talking K2 South, Qatar, Angolon, Ada. Sometimes it also affects people in Shama and all the way to the western coast. So we'll be speaking to various people. We have a team on the ground at Aklabanya in Ada. They'll be joining us live. I have studio guests. I have guests on the phone as well. It's going to be interactive. We'll be right back.
Beverages just made 2022 a lot more exciting with the Bell Chill and Win promotion. Simply buy bottles of your favorite Bell Beverages products like Tamarinda, Bell Cola, Puka, Big Boss, Squeeze, Breeze, Bell Malt, and more. Remove at least 20 labels, put them in an envelope with your name and contact. Drop them at any Bell Beverages depot or accredited distributor across the country. Voila! You stand a chance of winning fantastic prizes in the Bell Chill and Win monthly draws announced on TV, radio, and social media. Prizes include home furniture, appliances, hampers of Bell products, shopping vouchers, and the grand prize of a Kia Picanto in the final raffle draw. Remember, the more envelopes you drop, the more your chances of winning. Bell Chill and Win. Everyone is a winner. For more information, call 0544-33-5800 or 0544-33-5900. Follow at Bell Beverages on all social media platforms. T's and C's apply. Take note, Bell Beverages are now available on Jumia Ghana. Bell Beverages, refreshing the nation. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. So tonight we push the periscope straight to the southern part of Ghana, to the coast. We'll be finding out what the situation is with the tidal wave menace. In November, we had destruction in K2 South, in parts of Qatar and Angolon, and also parts of Ada. We had a brief reprieve, and this month of April, it's happened again. It's been quite serious in the Ada area, as it has in parts of Qatar and K2 South. Our man on the ground is called Fred Duho. He has a team with him live. He will join us shortly to give us a live update on what's happening there as far as the tidal wave menace is concerned, its effects on people. I would also check the historicity of the issue. I have our head of research, Nathan Kwaw, in studio, who give us an immediate news history of this particular menace. How has it been happening? What has been the effect? We'll also speak to a scientist, Professor Kwesi Apiening Ado. He's the most published academic on this subject. He's an environmental scientist. So what causes this tidal wave menace? Can it be prevented? Is it sand winning? What are the long-term solutions to it? We'll also find out what government's response has been. Government has worked through NADMO. They've also worked through the ministries as well as the Coastal Development Authority. The CEO of the Coastal Development Authority is also in studio. He will tell us what his unit has been doing to deal with the matter. You would also hear from the Dufia of Qatar, Togbe James Oklu V, as you would from the MP for Angolon, Richard Kwame Sepe. So it's a packed show tonight. And we're live as well. So if you are in any of the communities around the coast, you want to send us a video or story, the WhatsApp number is on the screen. Let's hear from you. So let me welcome Jerry Ameshaib. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bernard.
Thank you, Nathan, Head of Research, for joining us. I'll start with you, Nathan. So remind us in the news, a quick history of this. How often has it been happening, and which particular places has this tidal wave been hitting?
Well, I mean, if you want to, I started to look at it from, say, a 10, 12-year period. So I started way back in 2011, and you find that the stories kind of pile on each other as the years go by. So, for example, in September 2011, there was a major one that occurred, and 1,500 people were displaced by tidal waves along the coastal part of the Volta region. So a number of towns and villages along that stretch. And then in August 2012, you had tidal waves affecting places like Jita, Srogbe, Huti, Hovi, Blekusu, and all these areas were outside the Qatar Sea Defense catchment area at the time. Now, 60 houses were destroyed in all, and 35 of the 60 were in Jita.
Wow. This is August 2012.
This is August 2012. Then June 2015, you found that tidal waves in Qatar displaced 627 people, and they destroyed 56 houses.
Wow.
So 627 people had to be moved about, and 56 houses were destroyed. Now, exactly a year after that, in June 2016, you had towns like Huveme, Totobo, Huti, Srogbe, Jita, Agbeledomi. They were all hit by tidal waves. People got displaced, farmlands were destroyed, property got destroyed.
So we're seeing a trend. September 2011, August 2012. Then you have June 2015, June 2016. So it looks at the rainy seasons for 2015, 2016.
Then April 2017, you had communities along the Qatar coastline, Blekusu, Hove, Haveji, Jita, Huti, Srogbe, and Anyanui, all of them experiencing these tidal waves. 300 houses got submerged and several property got destroyed. Now, if you follow the story so far, certain towns keep repeating themselves. So the likes of Jita and others keep repeating themselves in these episodes. And in April 2018, so just after the April 2017 episode,
so it was interesting. So September 2011, August 2012. So this is almost like the third half of the third quarter of the year. Second quarter. No, third quarter. Then you have June 2015, June 2016. Then you have April 2017, April 2018. So there's some rhythm there.
There's some rhythm. So in April 2018, Huveme got hit by a tidal wave. Many got displaced. You move on to a year after that, in May 2019. 20 houses, and this one was in a different location. 20 houses at Anglon Beach in the Shamar district were destroyed by tidal waves.
So this is the first time Western region
we are experiencing that in the Western. At least it's coming up in the news in the Western region. July 2019, the same place, over 140 houses at Anglon Beach, which is in the Shamar district of the Western region, got washed away by tidal waves. Now we come to the cases that are a bit more recent. In November 2021, you had tidal waves hitting the Qatar municipality. 3,000 homes were affected. Communities like Abutia Kope, Keji Kope, and Qatar Central were largely affected. Now, this dominated the conversation. If you remember, there were so many reactions, Jifako, Mashi, government, and all of that. Everybody had a say. And then what we experienced a few days ago, April 2022, Qatar, Shamar, and Labadi all were hit by tidal waves. So you see the Greater Accra appearing, at least in this historical bit that I've put together for the first time, Shamar appearing for the second time, but Qatar almost through from 2011. We find Qatar appearing in the records we've managed to put together.
So it seems as if it's either April or May or August, September. So it's coinciding with either the major or the minor rainy season. It's almost always the Qatar area affected. Sometimes the Western region. Sometimes the Adam area as well. We have a few maps to show you, but here's an aerial view of Qatar, I think this is. And this was a video taken, this is Adam actually, in November 2021. So we're still showing you some shots of the recent tidal wave and what it caused. If you notice, Nathan keeps talking about 300 houses, 200 houses. You're seeing some of this, and this is a strip of land between the sea and the lagoon. Fred, if you can hear me, come back on. We can hear you. Just go ahead. Well, while we sort out Fred, you notice there's a thin strip of sand between a lagoon on your left with houses. All of these houses have water in them, and then the sea encroaching. We'll later on show you some maps which is showing the reduced size of the sea. And there are other maps we've seen that suggests that this is actually not just the eastern part of Ghana. So it happens all over the coast, but it just appears that the parts between Aflao and Accra seem to have a bigger effect than between Accra and, say, Half Assini and Cape 3 Points. So this is the Adan area that we have to show. Let me see if Fred can hear me. Fred, can you hear me? Can you take it up?
Yeah, Bernard, I can hear you, and I'm specifically at Aklabanya, and as you speak, the environment looks a bit calm, and the water has receded at most parts of the community. Aklabanya specifically is more like a fishing community, and they are just closer to the coast. And the very first time we came here was on Monday, where most of the places were flooded. But today we've seen that the intervention by Electric Ghana, using their excavator to dredge portions of the land to create paths for the water to flow back into the sea, that actually worked. And that has actually made the water to recede, to normal levels. But some of the rooms that were affected, some people are yet to return to their homes. And a number of people are going about their normal duty. But this evening, they are home and they are sleeping. Those were, affected. The impact in their homes was minimal. Those people are back in their rooms and they've restored. I've been to one of these rooms where the woman and her family were back to their room. They are sleeping and some are watching television. So I would say life has actually restored to normal. The men, most of them, I understand, they've gone to high seas. As we speak, they are actually on their fishing expedition to try and make some cash to make up for the days that were lost due to this tidal wave that hit the community over the weekend. So Bernard, as we say, the community is a bit calm as we speak.
How common is this in the Adan area? Because your previous reports have focused particularly in Ketu South and Qatar areas. And what is the extent of damage you saw on Monday when you went to the Adan area?
As we speak, I would say that the extent of damage has been to their fishing boats and their outboard motors. That is mainly what they speak about when you talk to the men.
The women in this community. The women largely because they would have to do smoking of fish. The firewood that they used to do this smoking of fish has been the major thing that was impacted by this tidal wave. But comparatively, covering the coasts of the Ketu South, Qatar, and East environs, compared to this particular place, I would say, in as much as the issue here is not as recurrent like that of the Qatar side, this place has been one of the hardest hit from my observation because the water came into the community in large volumes. And for that matter, most homes were affected. Unlike Qatar, Ketu South, when you talk of Salakope, Kejikope, Jita, in those areas, when the wave enters the community, most homes are normally affected, but this particular, at Aklabanya, is on a larger scale. It entered their room, their bedroom. Some have to vacate and go and sleep as far as Sege to be able to, come back the following day. So as we speak, this particular home that we were on Monday, when the incident occurred over the weekend, water has actually receded, and I'm trying to now walk towards one of the rooms. If you can see me on TV,
I can see you on TV. Where exactly are you standing?
Okay, so I am at Aklabanya in one of their compounds, and from this place to the seashore is just about some 20 to 30 meters. And where I walk right now, which is more like a dry land, on Monday, the water was actually somewhere on our shin. and that was the situation. We're walking basically in a pool of water over here last Monday, and I am walking into a particular house where this water just entered the entire place, and these people in this particular room, they actually have to vacate their house, and I understand they are not yet back because there is still traces of water in the room, and they are unable to return in this current state. I have the assembly member also around who would probably help us to understand the situation much better, because he has been with the people over time, and to shed some light as to what really this situation is. Assembly member, if you can join me, I'll be very glad. So the assembly member, he is Frederick Tete, and he's the assembly member for Aklabanya electoral area. Welcome to the Point of View on CTTV.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you are welcome. Here is Aklabanya. I'm Fred Tete Labia, a village or a community in the Adan West District Assembly. I think the incident occurred 5 days today, and it was very terrible. You see, Aklabanya is a fishing community. That is a fishing business we have in the community. So we have about 275 fishing canoes lively operating. So because of these thunder waves, it's having troubling us about from 1968 when the first one happened. And it happens too in 1980, but today's one is just like we can compare this one to the 1968 one, and this is thunder waves. We haven't seen this thing before. So when it hit the shore, then it entered the community. So it was the whole community is flooded. We have villages, let's say 3 villages around the Aklabanya. Tego Kopi, Aklabanya, Newtown, and Majage. So when that was happening, we thought it would stop, but it continues, and it's breaking some of the houses, and then some of the canoes have been capsized, and outboard motors have been lost in, which is very, very costly things. So people decide to arrange for cars and take their families to Sege and other surrounding, Nakon Kopi, where it's little bit far from here. We have about 2,000 people homeless, hey. And when you look them, you feel marvel about them. And now, when the thing is happening, the district chief executive, Honorable Kwankpa, and our MP, Honorable Christian, they are with us here. They try as much, and they bring some excavator from a company, Magdan company. So they come and dredge where it blocked so that the water can just move away. So
has NADMO actually come here to do anything? What have they done for you so far?
NADMO, they came here, but what they do is that they will just come and give us rice and mattress and fried toast and all those things. After that, that is the end. So we want the government to come on our aid.
If you say government should come to your aid, what specifically do you want the government to come and do here?
Yeah, what we want the government to do is that we want the landing beach, and that it can be easily help us for our fishing expedition and protect the community, okay, not to be moving as it's moving now.
So that's quite interesting. If you are requesting for a landing beach and not a sea defense, one would have thought that sea defense could be the solution to this tidal wave entering into the community. Why the landing beach? What is the special reasoning behind that?
Yeah, the special reason behind that is that when they make a sea defense, you see, it will defend the community to extent, but that will not be possible for us because Aklabanya, our business is fishing. So when they make sea defense, it will worry us. But when they have the landing beach, it will cover so that when the thunder waves is coming, it will hit it as far before to the shore.
You were making some, revelations when I was engaging you earlier. You said that about 2/3 of the community is actually in the sea. As history, you were recounting some history for me earlier. Can you briefly tell us how is this the state of the community? Was this how you started when your forefathers came here? How big was this community, and how hard hit has the tidal wave actually affected your activities?
You see, 1770, this community was being established. So by 1958, that is where we have been seeing things. So by 1968, the community, when you are going to a beach, you walk about 1,000 meters away before you reach the beach, because there's a road, there's a river. Before you go to see the green grass, after the green grass, before you walk on the sand, before you reach where they pull their canoe to. So when we see it, it's marvelous, because a lot, about 2/3 of the land, the sea erosion have washed it away. And that is the reason why we are saying that when they put a landing beach, you see, landing beach, the stone will go in, you see, as far as 500 meters away. So that will help us, whereby the community, the fishing expedition will carry on. But when they have the sea defense, you see, it will worry us by not do our fishing, because we have nothing work at Akrabanya than the fishing. That is.
All right, so Bernard, basically that is what the assembly member Frederick Tete is sharing with us, for the fact that they want a landing beach instead of a sea defense wall. Basically, he's giving the reason that the sea defense, the landing beach would rather be located or situated some 500 meters deep into the sea, and that would rather anchor the community from these sort of shocks in future disasters.
Thank you, Fred. We'll come back to you before the show ends. Fred Duho reporting from Akpalabanya. This is still the point of view. Tonight, we're giving you a panoramic view of the situation in certain parts of the country. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll touch base with a man who's written and researched more on this than most people, Professor Kwesi Appiah Addo, on whether this is a lost cause. There's a story that came up last week that he says in a few years' time, the sea will swallow Osu Castle, Nkrumah Mausoleum, Independence Square, and other places. So is this a lost cause? And what's the best approach to this? Is this sea defense or is this something else? We'll also touch base with the Dufia of Anglo, James Oklu the Fifth. And then we'll come to the Coastal Development Authority on what other solutions. You heard him say the NADMO brought them Fritol and things. So is that the solution that Jerry and co have? This is the point of view. We are live. Stay with us.
Mama Josie. Fe.
Different era, better result. Time has changed and time has brought Kel Choco toothpaste, healthy gums, anti-cavity, fresher breath, and it whitens teeth. Kel Choco toothpaste, Sankofa.
Yenchi, Kel Choco toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Excuse me, please hurry up. I don't have enough time. driver, you don't have an AC in your car, your tire is bad, and you are here chilling. I'll rate you poorly.
I got a message for you.
Madam, one more.
Belcans is perfect for you. Refreshing.
Feel the refreshing taste of Bell Fruit Cocktail in a can this festive season with a blend of fruit extracts and flavors that hit just right. It will always do the magic on a hot steaming day.
Put me in the mood. If I'm trouble with Belcans, that's I know it.
5-star. Thanks.
Who said it's for you? It's for Bell Fruit Cocktail. It costs so rough.
Tell you.
Bell Fruit Cocktail is on point.
Belcans, refresh in style. Another quality product from Bellacqua. This advert is FDA approved. Belcans are now available on Jumia Ghana.
Welcome back. This is The Point of View. Tonight we're bringing you a special show from not just Accra, but also parts of the Greater Accra region, particularly Aklabanya in Adan, where our team, led by Fred Duho, is. We'll also go to Qatar, where the Dufia will talk to us about the effects of the tidal wave menace on the community. In studio, I have Jerry Ameshaib. He's the CEO of the Coastal Development Authority. We know they've been trying to support some of the communities. What are the plans from the side of government in dealing with the matter? Now, let me find out if I have the director of the Institute of Environmental and Sanitation Studies of the University of Ghana, Professor Kwesi Apiening Ado. In our research before this show, we noticed that he's written quite a lot and done a lot of research on this. So, Prof, thanks for joining us on The Point of View. Good evening.
Good evening, Bernard, and good evening to your viewers.
So, is this fight against nature a lost cause, or can we win?
Well, thank you once again. I think a fight against nature is a fight you are not likely to win. And I think we are not there yet. I wouldn't say we've lost entirely, but I think we need to re-strategize.
What has been our traditional approach to dealing with this historically?
I think traditionally we have tried to fight coastal erosion. We have tried to fight issues that are related to coastal erosion. But globally, we have identified that is not the best way to go because you can't win this fight against nature. I think we've come to a point where we need to move away from the traditional way of managing coastal erosion, which has always been fighting erosion, to managing with nature, where we appreciate that this is a natural, activity, and we have to identify that we must manage the natural system. The traditional way of doing it is building groins, revetments, sea walls. These are what I call an hard engineering approach in fighting coastal erosion. But using this approach gives you some relief, in a very short term. But what you have done is basically transferring the problem from one location to the other. Now, let's use a groin, for instance. Now, if you look at groins are usually perpendicular structures that are constructed to the shoreline. And the basic concept behind groin is to trap sediment. So if an area is eroding, we construct the groin traps sediment and begins to build the beach. So the sediment that are trapped over years build a beach. But then you also realize that the sediment you are trapping, you are depriving the downrift side of the coast that sediment to help build the coast. So once you trap, you deny the downrift that sediment. And once that sediment is denied, the coast is denied that sediment, the system naturally, takes sediment, build and sediment deposits, and then it goes on and on. It's a cyclic behavior. So when we interrupt that cyclic behavior, then the system will go look for more sediment to continue with this natural dynamic. So in doing so, you have more areas now being eroded. So in your quest to control or fight erosion at a particular area using hard engineering approach, you deprive some areas of sediment, and that area will eventually be eroded, and you have erosion going on and on. But can we engineer the entire coast? We can't do that. So we need to have a rethink about how we manage erosion moving forward.
Are you suggesting that the sea defense may not be the long-term solution?
In fact, sea defense has never been, I wouldn't say the best solution. It is one of the options. Like I mentioned, once you engineer the coastal area, you are transferring that problem boundary. So you haven't solved the problem. You haven't.
So what is the long-term solution then?
So the long-term solution we have been advocating for is how do we now manage with nature? It's a natural activity that has been augmented by human impact. So how do we now manage with nature? So we go back and look at how naturally, how the natural systems have developed their own resilience against some of these, hazards, and try to learn from the natural phenomena. One way we're doing that is the vegetation along the coast. You realize that we destroyed most of our vegetation along the coast, like the mangroves. But these mangroves are very important vegetation along the coast. So moving forward, how can we bring back some of these vegetation so that they can perform the natural role they have been performing over the years? But you also realize that in some areas, it will be extremely difficult to use 100% natural solution in managing erosion. So we can combine the natural with the hard engineering, which we now call the hybrid. So now we're talking about hybrid globally. So areas where we identify vulnerability to be very high, we can do a combination of the hard and then bring back the natural system so that the natural system can help, introduce the natural dynamics into the system so as to be able to manage effectively. So we can use hard to hold it, push it back, and then bring the natural system to like the mangroves, the coconuts, and the vegetation, general vegetation along the coast, so that we can reintroduce some of these things and let the system naturally fight it. Yeah.
You've made some grim predictions. I'm currently showing viewers a map of Qatar over decades, and it's amazing how the sea has eaten into the town and how the sea and the lagoon are merging. From what I've read you write, you've predicted that places like Osu Castle and Nkrumah Mausoleum, Independence Square will soon be swallowed by the sea. What's your prediction for Qatar? Are you saying that eventually places like Qatar will disappear completely, or that if we do the interventions in the hybrid fashion you describe, we can still salvage some of these places?
Absolutely. If nothing is done about it, then we are likely to experience what we don't want to experience, because the sea level is rising as a result of climate change. In Ghana, sea level is rising at a rate of about 3 millimeters per year. But what makes Qatar area a bit serious is that Qatar is part of the Volta Delta. And from our studies, we realized that we are also experiencing subsidence in the delta, meaning that the land is sinking. Some areas we have experienced between 1 to 6 millimeters per year. So if you have a situation whereby the land is sinking and then you have the sea also rising, it gives you a double, agony, in the sense that once the sea level is rising, with the minimum storm activity, you expect that there will be a surge. And once there's a surge in the water level, so during high tide, we have the high, low tide. During high tide, with a little bit of storm, the surge that occurs or happens in the water will enable the high rise in water to flood the low-lying areas. So you expect that we will have flooding occurring more in the low-lying areas from two main things: the rising sea level and the subsidence that we are also experiencing. But if we bring back the vegetation and manage with nature and create that natural environment for the system or the ecosystem to thrive and to naturally, fight these, hazards, we can win this battle. I think the best way to go now is to manage with nature. And again, some areas we should, as a matter of urgency, relocate people from there because those areas are so highly vulnerable, and we can't afford to lose life. And if you look at some areas like Povome, for instance, we are almost losing Povome. Now, these areas, what I identify from our study is that they are not meant to be lived, people are not meant to live there. People can come, work there as fishermen, and then go back to a more secured area. Because these areas are quite low in terms of elevation. So with a little storm, we will experience flooding.
Okay.
In such areas, we need to move away people from these areas, and then they can come, do their fishing, and go back. If the situation, the condition is not favorable, they don't come at all, so that we can protect the lives of women and children. If they are highly vulnerable, we can protect those lives. And then the men can come and do their fishing and go back. I'm sure if we work with nature, we should be able to solve some of these problems.
Thank you very much, Professor Kwesi Apienin Ado, Director for Institute of Environment and Sanitation Studies. So he's been researching this, has some very interesting stories. Let me come in studio. Jerry Ahmed Shaib, Coastal Development Authority. You've heard a lot of things. You've heard my guy at Adan describe what happened. Clearly, the Adan situation doesn't happen as often as the Qatar side. Prof is also saying some interesting things. Basically that a hybrid solution, sea defense alone may not work, vegetation. Then he even says some of the places people should not inhabit it. When you put all of this together, what's your initial reaction, hearing all of these discussions as coastal development? What's your initial thoughts?
Thank you for the opportunity. I mean, we've had the opportunity of being with City TV, the recent one, not this very one. In November. And then the initial assessment, you'd likely or largely place it on climate change, and therefore these are things that you cannot have control over, but you can also prevent them from getting to wherever they've gotten to. So for instance, the issue of relocation, which is key, the issue of planting trees and encouraging the mangrove, and then most importantly, what government is doing now together with what we call the WACA project management. The WACA project management essentially deals with West Africa coastal area project management. It's a World Bank sponsored project. So they go in to see or do an assessment and say that this is not a place to, for instance, stay. And therefore the way to do it is to move the people from wherever they are to a place that it's more habitable, and that they can also still engage in whatever commercial activity they engage in. So if you look at the overall objective of the WACA is to develop what they call the multi-sector investment plan, which is MSIP. And this is to virtually take care of coastal flooding, erosion and pollution of identified hotspots. Now, the aim is actually to present investment scenarios for the development of the Ghanaian coastal zone. So and this is actually spearheaded by the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. If we are able to consider the WACA project management move, for instance, and to ensure that it's fully prosecuted, most of the things that we are talking about, just like the prof said, just like your reporter said, can be taken care of. So first of all, are we only going to, for instance, build or construct sea defense? No, that would not be the solution to the problem. Then are we also going to just say that we are going to relocate people. No, that would not just be the solution. So the green environment is also a suggestion to this problem, where there's concentration on cultivating, even for us at Coastal Development Authority. One of the things we've considered is to push the agenda of the Clean Beach campaign. And we think that one of the ways to stop some of these things is to cultivate coconut trees all over the place. That first thing, we believe that these are some of the ways in collaboration with all the relevant agencies and institutions can help, if not fully taking off the problem of tidal waves, at least reduce it to a very minimal level.
The Waka is a long-term project?
Yes, it is a long-term project.
Because I noticed in November when you went to also give people things. You were talking about loans.
Yes.
You were talking about, I mean, it was basically like what NADMO was doing.
Yes.
Right?
So just let me take this opportunity to also correct the Honorable Assembly Member, Akplabanya.
Yes.
I mean, just like the President will always say, you need to have lives saved first before you can put in other measures. So if you get into a situation where you are displaced or dislodged and you cannot get food to eat, you obviously would expect NADMO to come in to give you some survival, some means of survival. So NADMO gets in, they do some feasibility. They see that, oh, Bernard needs this A or Jerry needs that B. So let's bring those ones together and provide them with the necessary support. So that would be first stage of providing support. Then second stage would be that, okay, maybe you need some support as in like loans. So we went in as Koda Credit Union to see how best we can support them. As you hear him, he also made mention of what? The outboard motors. This was also a directive from His Excellency the President. Outboard motors which now sell around 25,000. Get to these places that the people are displaced. Their main venture is what? Fishing. See how best you can give them outboard motors at high purchase and actually at reduced prices. So outboard motors that sell at 25,000, we were taxed to give to this our fishermen at what? 10,000 Ghana cedis, and in actual sense at what? A high purchase arrangement. So if you have 10 months to now pay for an outboard motor, and therefore it means that you'll be paying 1,000 cedis a month. That is a very soft.
And this is targeted at communities affected by the.
Yeah, well, generally yes, but if there are other people that we also feel that, because we are pursuing pro-poor policies, so and that is under the IPEP, which is the Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication Program. So if you think that the fisherman has been displaced or dislodged, and therefore his outboard motor is gone kaput, what can you do? You can only step in to say, I am doing A, B, C, or D. Yes.
I'll come back to you because I'll be speaking to the chief of of Qatar, and I'll come back to you with some responses to that. This is still the point of view. Tonight we're focused on the tidal wave menace. I started with Nathan Kwao. I have Fred Duho in Ada. I've also spoken to Professor Kwesi Appiah-Ningadu. When I come back, I'll be speaking to Togbe James Oklu the fifth on his own perspective from the Qatar side of things, how this should be dealt with. And then we'll bring back Jerry Ameshaib of the Coastal Development Authority. Stay with us.
Bell Beverages just made 2022 a lot more exciting with a Bell Chill and Win promotion. Simply buy bottles of your favorite Bell Beverages products like Tamarinda, Bell Cola, Puka, Big Boss, Squeeze, Breeze, Bell Malt, and more. Remove at least 20 labels, put them in an envelope with your name and contact. Drop them at any Bell Beverages depot or accredited distributor across the country. Voila! You stand a chance of winning fantastic prizes in the Bell Chill and Win monthly draws announced on TV, radio, and social media. Prizes include home furniture, appliances, hampers of Bell products, shopping vouchers, and the grand prize of a Kia Picanto in the final raffle draw. Remember, the more envelopes you drop, the more your chances of winning. Bell Chill and Win. Everyone is a winner. For more information, call 0544-33-5800 or 0544-33-5900. Follow at Bell Beverages on all social media platforms. T's and C's apply. Take note, Bell Beverages are now available on Jumia Ghana. Bell Beverages, refreshing the nation. This advert is FDA approved.
You own a business or a side hustle, but where does work happen? Is it in an office, a home, or on the move? Indeed, it's everywhere. Let your business go with you everywhere too. Welcome to the world of Kedeba, where we expose items in your inventory to new markets and a wider customer base for revenue generation. Kedeba keeps your company on the move and easily manages your team's activities for better performance even when you are away. Let's help you get that loan you're looking for using Kedeba and grow your company's profitability. So whether you are in a big or small business, think about it. Where can you work? Call us. Kedeba. Go mobile.
The song is a vibe. It's a hit, I tell ya.
Everybody is talking
You
about
know, say what? So, ladies, I want to introduce you to something special. Just wait for me. So here we go. Is the Bell Cola and the Bell Squeeze. Just try it.
Never a dull moment this festive season with Bell Cola and Bell Squeeze, now available in cans. Feel the fizz as it excites your taste buds as every sip takes you on an adventure. And they're perfect mixes for your cocktails and mocktails.
Say what?
Grab a can of Bell Cola and Bell Squeeze in every shop and pub near you. Another member of the Bell Can range and a quality product from Bell Aqua. Bell Cans, refreshing style, taste of adventure. This advert is FDA approved. Bell Cans are now available on Junior Ghana.
Welcome back. This is still The Point of View. Tonight is a special show on the Tidal with menace. Here are two quick comments. Bernard, I was in Akbalabanya 6 years ago for a week holiday, and the room I lived in throughout my stay was about 20 meters away from the sea. To my surprise, I woke up every morning with visible signs of the seawater sweeping our compound while we were sleeping. That was when I knew that the community was sitting on a time bomb. This is Freeman Kwade, UPSA. It was scary, but it looked okay to the residents. Here's one from somebody who lives in Qatar. He says, Bernard, I'm extremely troubled about the threat to the survival of my hometown, Qatar. Professor Kwesi Apiening paints a grim picture. It should be possible to save the situation. We practically live between the sea and the lagoon. The coastline I knew when I used to go to my hometown in the 90s is no more. Someone must save Qatar. Let's talk to Togbe James Oklu, the 5th Chief of Qatar. Good evening, sir. Thanks for joining us on The Point of View.
Good evening, Jerry Clifton.
How concerned about you about the situation of tidal wave for your town?
To start with, this tidal wave situation in Qatar is something we have been experiencing for the past 15 years now. And unfortunately, all the time the last DPP government Akufo-Addo. So, yes, that's what the city. And this sea defense project was the only thing that saved the people of Qatar. And right now, the sea is still forcing the sea defense project and then trying to move to the area which we are not expected to. So I can say the government has to do more for us. Maybe they put up more things along the platform, say from a young so I think that is the only situation that can put the people from the program, especially how they did for us. If they can continue, fine.
So are you saying they should extend the sea defense wall? Where does the sea defense start and end, and where should they extend it to?
Yes, the extension is very necessary because right now in the tidal wave is a little bit calm, but if you move from Qatar, getting had not been at the getting to Afla outside, you can find out that the sea is very serious at that time. Taking houses, especially in the night. So I think the extension must continue till it will apply.
Do you think it will be advisable to ask people to relocate in the interim because of the seriousness of the situation, or you are confident that whatever solution government is proposing will work to prevent people from moving from their homes?
So where do you want to get to? We are fishermen, and our business is the sea and land. So why do you why the government will get us? There's no place. So I think the government has to do more to put up the defense. Because if it's not like that, then we are in the sea and the lagoon. If the city may give the lagoon, that means the whole Qatar will be washed away. So I believe in the government. If there's anything they can do to put a final stop to the sea, fine.
A scientist tells us that a sea defense alone may not be enough. We need to have what he calls a hybrid solution, which includes planting mangroves and trees to also prevent the lagoon from shutting out the rest of the land. Is this something that the traditional rulers can champion while you wait for government to build the sea defense?
We, the traditional rulers, cannot do that. Because if they have to do, they have to dredge. Dredging is very important. They can dredge the sea, they can even dredge the lagoon to get more land. You can dredge the sea to get more land. You do the protect and put up the sea. I think apart from the mangrove trees and all those things, dredging is very important.
All right, thank you for talking to us, Togbi. We appreciate your time. Togbi James Oklu, the fifth is the Dufia of Qatar. This is still the point of view. I have Jerry still here from Coastal Development. Let me see if I still have Fred Duho from Akpalabanya. He's going to spend the night there, so hopefully he will observe the sea before tomorrow morning. Fred, if you can hear me, it seems as if it rained in the southern part of Accra today, but somehow you said the water has rather receded, which is quite refreshing to note. Are the people very anxious at all, or are they okay to sleep tonight?
The water has receded at certain parts of the town and not the entire town. So in the middle of the town, for instance, I mean, there is this pool of water there that looks more like a huge dam. And other portions also do have water. But essentially, I mean, the community largely, they are beginning to pick the pieces and then move on. So as we speak, most of them have returned to their room to sleep. And those whose homes are actually inhabitable, as we speak, they have vacated, like I was saying earlier. So those people who are unable to return to their homes, they are finding places, in Sege or with relatives, at the community center, and they are passing the night. And the tidal wave normally occurs from 4 p.m. or sometimes overnight. And that is how come when they sleep, they are quite anxious or probably like they don't know what will happen next. So when they are sleeping, they are paying attention to the behavior of the sea. And because it is just about some 20 meters away from their residence, essentially when they sleep, they have to really not sleep with their ears. They would not have that sound sleep like someone inland who has nothing to really worry about. So essentially these people here, in as much as it's a fishing community, they know how to swim, they know how to go about activities as far as the sea is concerned. They equally believe that something needs to be done in the interim. And aside the food, the rice, the fried all that they really don't want, they want,
a long-term solution.
Yes, a long-term solution, basically, so that this issue wouldn't recur.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you to you and your team for bringing us that report. Let me end with coastal development. So if you listen to the chief, quite clearly there's an expectation that government will build a sea defense. If you listen to the academic, he's saying you need a mix of solutions. How does government manage this type of expectation where the communities believe that there's a solution? Somebody said build a landing beach. That's the Adam person. Qatar says want a sea defense. You are talking about the Waka project, which is a mix of all kinds of things. How are you going to manage all of this within the budget constraints? We're also in a time where there's austerity. Yeah. So what's your closing comment?
Well, for government, the step is always to consider what we call the Coastal Rejuvenation Initiative, which is a combination of all the things we've talked about, including the planting of trees, the mangroves, coconuts, and all of that. And the relocation, which is key. Bernard, I mean, just like Fred just said, if you know that sleeping here, you may end up dying just because you'll be overtaken by the sea or you get submerged. Why are you even continuing to stay there?
Maybe they have no option. Maybe they have nowhere else to go.
Options have been made available. I was in K2 South with Fred, and we saw that the government has made options available. So if you go to, for instance, Salakope, Agaveji, and Adna, there is a medium-term plan being rolled out. So the assembly has secured some funding to start the construction of some 100 houses. And that's going to be 2-bedroom facilities for the small island they are going to be on. That is an option. But if you're saying that there is an ancestral connection to the sea or to wherever you are staying and you are still going to die, and that's where you prefer to stay, that is not on. So beyond all of this, you also know that government is currently building about 11 landing beach places for our people. So that's a combination. And you know the Qatar Lagoon, Qatar Harbour is also a project that has been earmarked as part of this process. And then we can also talk about what EPA is doing. EPA is currently coordinating national efforts, which we call the ICZM, which is Integrated Coastal Zone Management. This is actually to properly categorize and zone coastal areas so that you can zone them based on the risk and their profiles. And then you will know the kind of solution to proffer, because it's not one size fits all. So if you for instance, go to Qatar and you know that it's a very low area, it's not the same as in Accra or Botiano, where we have different reasons to take care of the people there. So if we would allow government to take the necessary steps, including relocating people, including pursuing the green agenda, which includes planting mangroves, coconut, and all the trees that we can, and ensuring that sea defenses are also well built. I think that we'll get somewhere. And yes, when we're also doing this, the human character or the human being matters. So the issue of we coming in to give outboard motors out on subsidized prices, giving them food to eat, and
it's equally important.
Extremely important.
We'll leave it here. Thank you. Jerry Ahmed Shaib is the CEO of the Coastal Development Authority. We've been speaking to him in studio. We had Nathan Kwao earlier on, head of research, giving us some context. We had live from Aklabanya Fred Duho reporting from the ground. He spoke to the assemblyman for the area. We also spoke to Professor Kwesi Apiening Ado, director of the Institute of Environment and Sanitation Studies, Legon, and Togbi James Oklu, the fifth, the Dufia of Qatar. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The Point of View is brought to you by Bell, Chill and Win. Bell, Chill and Win. Everyone is a winner. Bell Mixers. Bell Mixers. The taste of adventure. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal. Happy smile. Impromptu Technologies. Making you free to achieve.